So you could come and ask questions too, but they'll usually have the RAM members ask first and then they'll open it up.
So when the institutional controls and they finish the risk assessments, the public hearing is your RAM meeting?
Yes, and they, when they have before they finalize the plan, they'll have a special meeting to take in public comment, so that'll be another chance for folks to get involved.
There's public comment, not public input or approval or...
It's not public oversight, it's not, yeah, we don't have decision making, but we can testify and raise our concerns.
I attended the last meeting, and one thing I noted is the timer that they use. So they give, whatever it is, 5 minutes, 10 minutes for questions, and it doesn't matter if the time runs out and there are still questions, they move on. And the other thing I would note, just for edification, is and light and color and small, and then they were printed, see them, light, color, and small, and it was just very impossible to read. Rosalie has a slide up. I just want to show an example. So like here is one random slide from the materials that they shared. And what caught me about this, that I didn't understand until I cornered the guy who made this slide, is that this yellow box here, this is an area of the Red Hill facility, is 18 acres. And the green dots are soil samples, borings that they took. There's 3 inches in size. So this, depiction is, I think, meant to give us some calm that they're monitoring, but it's misleading in that the green dots are huge, and this area of the yellow rectangle is huge. Yeah, it's a small dot. The actual sample area is very small, but what's depicted is quite large. And there was no opportunity for us to drill down as a group to understand what we were seeing on this slide. And that's a 20 years on the Restoration Advisory Board. You deserve an award. I've done this for 9 months and I can't stand it. All right, we are behind schedule, but I do want to make a point of featuring the Kapilina residents who are here. This is your opportunity. You can come up here to this mic, or if you'd rather sit, you can come here. Okay?
Yeah, welcome to Kapilina Beach Homes, where we have horrible Navy water. Don't drink the water. No, and thank you for being here. I think the Navy should be here. Of all places, they own this place. They provide the water here. We're a unique community with over 1,400 homes and well over, I'm sure, 6,000 people. We get mixed messages. I've been here 4 years. When the spill happened, the Army said, your water's bad. The Navy said, no, your water's good. And then the Army said it's bad, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. We feel like we're kind of the stepchild down here. We've gotten very little support. We've got very little from management. They put out a letter, the Navy says your water's good. They refuse to test hot water heaters. Navy refuses, Kapilina refuses. Yes, I'm glad you're here, and thank you for all that you do. I have followed you online, and you deserve awards. Thank you. And I don't know about you, I'm speaking for y'all, but I'm kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired. Here we hear they're going to change the CRI rules again, and you're going to do this, and you can't do that. It just kind of blows my mind, but I really do appreciate you here. Many of our residents think the water's safe. Look at the people that are swimming, as you said, But there are a number of us who don't think it's safe, and there are a number of us still getting sick. So my family's had many blood tests, urine tests. Luckily we can pay for doctors out of pocket. We're going through detox right now. My husband's a retired Navy veteran. Nothing's been done for the veterans. Nothing has been reached out to him. And ironically, he retired from NAFAC. So we thought NAFAC was a wonderful organization that was going to take care of us. And we've been really disappointed with that. We still don't drink the water or cook with it. I'm still suffering from head sores, head loss. It's from the toxic water. I'm getting ready to go to my 3rd dermatologist. And my husband went deaf in his right ear from the water and just had a cochlear implant at Tripler. But besides all that, there's a very small group of us that tries to provide safe water here. We go on one Saturday a month to Home Depot, and we purchase about 75 5-gallon jugs of water, bring it back here and distribute free to residents, limit 2 per family. So we're only serving about 30 families, which is very small. So I thank them. Mikey heads that up. Christine, who else is there? Michelle. It's wonderful that you do that, but we're running out of money. So if there's any ideas for any financial help or fundraising, we would appreciate that. And thank you again for being here. Thanks. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that information with us. My question is, when I've been here, I think when you guys have the thing on the beach with all the food trucks come and stuff, and there was trucks there that was giving out water. Was that you guys, or was that somebody else?
It was the Navy. The Navy came and gave out water for a while, and then they stopped because they said the water's safe. Yeah. And that was quite a while ago. It's been a while since they gave out water.
It was a while. So, have you looked at the Navy water sample information on the website for Kapilina?
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you provide that to your doctors?
Yes. Well, being military, we were going to Tripler, and any doctor you mentioned it to, they just stared at you. They wouldn't commit. They wouldn't agree to anything. They just really stared at you. So we went civilian and found civilian doctors who supported us and helped us. But luckily we can pay for it. But there are many, many people who cannot. And many who cannot buy their own water. We can buy our own water, but there are many who cannot. So we really feel like we're doing what we can, but we're really underserving this community. Yeah. Oh, and no notice about the firing range and the things out in the water except for the signs you see. We've received no notice about it. Yeah.
That is great. Do you know how many residents are in this area, in this neighborhood?
Well, it's over 1,400 homes, so I would figure over 6,000. If you average 4 per home, and I know there are many with a lot more than that. So it's a lot of people.
Okay. If the Navy were able to provide clean water, would the Kapilina residents be open to receiving water from the Navy directly?
I'm sure they would, because when we distribute water, when we run out, there's still people coming who want water. But 75 doesn't go very far in a community this big. Yeah.
That's intense. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Are there any other Kapilina residents who want to say something?
Go for it. Hi everybody, I'm Christine Mabry and I live here in Kapilina. I've been here 4 years next month, and we are having a struggle getting water. Army brought us water first. Navy didn't bring us water in the beginning. We supply the water through, every 3rd Saturday of the month for the residents here, and we are out of funding as of next month. The Navy hasn't offered to help us with it, and I am one of the community members, people say, well, if it's that bad, why don't you leave? I can't afford to leave. You know, my work is here, and I'm here alone, I'm disabled, I can't afford to leave, even if I wanted to. They have offered us no help. No help with the water. Those signs you see, they were just put up there less than a year and a half ago when they found out about the invasive coral. We've been here for years. People are fishing, swimming, everything in the water. Nothing was ever said to us. All of a sudden the signs are just there. You know? So how does that make them, you know, how is that okay? We've been here, some people have been here a hell of a lot longer than me. Why aren't they notifying the community that this stuff is in the water when we move in? Why do we have to find out years later through the signs? Because now the Navy's in trouble, so why not cover our ass with a sign? That makes it okay? Sorry about my language, I'm from New York.
That's right, free speech. It's not okay. And it's not okay for your choice to protect yourself and your family to be taken. That's not okay.
No, it's not okay. I'm grateful Kapilina allowed us to use the room today. Management was told about this. I'm grateful they let us use the room even if they didn't show up today. I'd still like to thank them for that.
Thank you. Any other questions for Christine? Thank you very much. Okay, we're slightly behind schedule, but please go ahead.
Aloha. I just wanted to thank the CRI for coming all the way out here to
Introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. My name is Michelle Poplar. I'm a longtime resident of Kapilina since December 2017. I also worked at the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Public Affairs Office between 2015 and 2018. So ironically, I worked in the very office that handled press releases for fleet rental fuel tank facilities. So I knew every single time there was a leak between 2015 and 2018. Yeah, so it's a long history, won't speak more on that. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you all for coming. And yes, we are still having symptoms in the community. I keep periodically ordering my water tested, like about every 6 months or so. Just to stay diligent, I inform my neighbors that I give them the hotline number, which is on like page 2 on the very small bottom of the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Bacon Safe Waters website. In fine print, yeah, the 24-hour emergency hotline. So I took it upon myself to, post it on our community Facebook group. Hey, if you want your water tested, here. I've noticed more testing happening in community. That's been making me happy that they're being a little bit more responsive. I just feel like I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to tell every single neighbor that moves in, oh hey, you might need to order your water tested. Have you had your water tested? Like, have you been having any symptoms? Oh gee, well yeah, my knee replacement, I had a bacterial infection and was in a hospital. Like, I hear these stories. And it's alarming how many people are like having symptoms that probably can be traced back to the water. And there's no proof because they didn't get their water tested, or there's just no way to prove it. So I shouldn't have to do that. The Navy, when they sent out press releases when I worked there, their tactic was to send it to the newspapers. What they should be doing, which would be the fun thing to do, is send out a notice to every rental agency on the water line. Okay, so you just send out that press release, send it to every rental agency on the water line so they can send an email out to all of the residents. That way, we can make an informed decision and monitor the sheen on our water, and just stay diligent with the hotline number on it. That's bare minimum. You know, you can't just send it off to the newspaper and expect that everyone's going to see it, because they don't. The whole Kelly newspaper that I worked for often ended up lining people's litter pans. It wasn't even read. It would end up like on a soggy mess on the Hickam community's doorstep. You know, it wasn't being read. That's why I got laid off. It was gone. So they need to update the way that they send out these very important information. It's just being more, transparency looks like also having information be received in a way that the people can actually get it and make informed decisions about their health and safety. After I saw the signs, that's where I'm going to surf. So I'm like, okay, I'm like surfing over the reef. I'm like, don't fall, don't fall. So, you know, I truly, I know that they're just trying to save their own backs and save face, and that's just the way they've done things. But I would appreciate it if the Navy would take a look at, you know, what informing the public should look like in 2024, and that like the technology is available to them, and we won't be mad if they inform us. Like we can okay, it's there. Radically accept that there's a problem, and we will stay diligent. But when they don't inform us, when they kind of like, this is not the thing that you see, you know, it's. That's when we get mad, you know. So we don't want to be mad. We want to trust the Navy, and when they don't show up to the CRI meetings, it does not rebuild public trust. That's not what public trust looks like. So I work directly, you know, with those folks, and I know they're good folks, and they're doing the best that they know, but they need to open up the way that they do, and you know, listen to the people and meet us where we're at. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Mandy, do you have your hand up intentionally?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I want to say hi first to Michelle. Hello. Question. I don't know if there's anyone there who represents Kapilina or not, but I'd love to know how they are informing the residents, new residents that are coming in. Have leases been updated to inform new residents that are coming in that there was a water crisis, and that there are still today, 2.5 years later, positive detections at every drinking water sample that the Navy does of TPH still drinking water?
They are not informed.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have a mechanism or any way of informing. It's not on the lease for new residents. This is why when I meet new residents, I go, hey, here's a hotline number, test your water. So there is no notice. If they answer questions to people briefly, oh yeah, no, if people are looking to rent here, they say, oh yeah, no, but it's fixed. That's what they tell people, and then they don't give them the information. What we do have is the Joint Base Safe Waters Branch. On occasion, we'll have a booth at the school or at the Wednesday night market and make themselves available for questions. However, people don't really know what they're even there for. So they often sit there, you know, with nobody actually talking to them except for me, which is like, hi again, hi friends. So that again takes me back. I've suggested to the Safe Waters Branch, and like I've asked them specifically, hey, Do you think you could make like a handout that goes like a one-sheet QR code that goes into the lease agreements for folks? So like when they first move in, they can click on a QR code and then go to the website and get all the information. Or do you think that you can put when there is any updated information, like just send it out to all of the residential areas around Pearl Harbor and have those resident managers like send out a mass email, hey, if you need more information or would like your water tested, this is the information. You don't have to say, oh, you don't have to scare people and say, oh, your water is contaminated, because like, no, this thing happened in 2021, and if you would like it, this is available. That's all they have to say. I'm not asking for them to be alarmist or anything. I'm just asking for bare minimal help.
I specifically addressed this to Admiral Barnett, to his face, and he informed me that he had sent Kathy here in Kapilina many notices about putting out warnings to new people coming into RIP, and he was going to address that with her. Nothing done.
I can speak directly to this issue too.
Wait.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Lizzie.
Yeah.
Michelle, did you see the electronic newsletter, the water notice, I guess? It was a Kapilina newsletter, and it was, as I understand, emailed to hopefully all the residents. But it really read like, your water is safe, this is how safe it is, and this is why it's safe. And when I looked at that, I mean, it's obviously gives us opposite of what we're trying to get out to people. And the reason I found out about that is I went to a birthday party, brought my child over here, and I said, before we go in this house, don't flush the toilet, don't wash your hands. I mean, I have PTSD, so I'm like, we don't want any exposure. It's not safe for us in the tiniest doses. So I was very strict with her about that. And I asked the people, I said, did you know about this when you moved in? And she said, no, what are you talking about? I was like, well, this is kind of what happened. Have you noticed anything? And she's like, well, we don't drink or cook with it anyways. But and she referenced her two elderly folks that lived there, their family members, had been in and out of the hospital with full body rashes like 8 times, and just like ants biting them when they take showers. And I'm like, okay, so I wish they would be notifying people. These particular elderly people could not speak. I don't know if they had a stroke or something, but they couldn't speak. And so I'm like, who's speaking for them? Who's notifying the people taking care of them? Who, they live here and they didn't know that. So I don't know if you know about that newsletter.
When was the newsletter sent out? I think I might have seen it, but often, people don't get their emails either.
Yeah.
It's not because they don't send them out, it's just because, myself, I might have missed it, I'm just in the fray, not checking my email. So I will go back and see if I actually have it. It's usually I get all of their emails.
It was pretty varied and well decorated. So
Yeah.
it was hard to come up with. Any other questions? Right, Michelle? Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Mikey. I'm one of the co-founders of Shutdown redhillCRI. We've been organizing this community. The first day that we did a distribution of water was on Christmas Day of 2021. So this is kind of going on our 3rd year of organizing in this community. And to Maddie's great question, none of the new residents know unless they've been apprised of the situation by the news or they literally work in the departments whose job it is to know about this. Nobody knows about the leaks when they first move in here. I know this because I have sat at many families' kitchen tables and knocked on many families' doors and asked them, how's your water? iPad in the hotspot. Ask them if they know about the Safe Waters website. Ask them if they want to check their water, or I just tell them. The last water jug exchange that we did last month, before I went home, I looked up some of the highest detections on the website for TPHD. Once over 100 parts per billion total petroleum hydrocarbons diesel range that were tested within this past year. None of the households knew about it. Mainly because every single one of those residents had only lived in that house for a month or several more. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the turnover in communities like Kapilina are so high? Right? It's because the leasing agent, management, the Army, the Navy, and the EPA do not inform people of these historic tests because it falls under their bullshit EAL level of 266, right? Would you drink water with over 100 parts per billion of TPHD in it because it's technically not jet fuel? I wouldn't. So, like one more example. Went to the food truck day, the Wednesdays. Great, you should go. Don't drink the water, but eat the food. Before I was kicked out, it was around 7:30, and NAVFAC was just setting up their table and asked me if I had an external power source because they couldn't turn on their 90s era monitor. I think they're running on Windows 95. And they couldn't answer basic questions about the runaround. So I was walking around with my iPad to residents, but also to vendors, asking them if they've ever had their water tested. Many of them actually said yes. But they said, if you don't hear back from us, that means it's fine. And one of them in particular didn't hear back. Their test, which was in October, and they've just moved in, and they'd only lived there for like 3 months. This is one of the food truck vendors. Theirs was like in the high 90s. And they were furious. And they all deserve to know. So to answer Mandy's question, long way around to answering Mandy's question, nobody's telling these residents except for concerned community members and their neighbors. That's how they find out.
So I think we're officially in the public testimony phase. If you don't want to speak at the mic, which is fine, you can either put your question on the index card, which is in the back, or you can fill out the Google form for which there's a QR code that Rosalie will put up in a minute, and or you can put in the chat with the Zoom. And we would, recognizing the time, we're technically supposed to be done at 7:30. I think it's okay if we go a little bit past that, and we'd rather have all of us have an opportunity to speak. So I guess just go ahead and line up behind the mic, and while we're doing that, I'm going to read off some questions. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody's here to be able to answer these. Let's see. What is the current status of Kapilina homes drinking water? And the current status, according to the Navy, is that it's fine. But the current status, according to residents, is it is not fine. Let's see. Can the public receive an unredacted copy of the hydraulic model and tracer study, including animation link, used and referenced in the Navy's Sworn Team Tech memo? Andrew, you're up. Can we get an unredacted copy of the hydraulic model tracer study? You can just say yes. Okay, great. Right. Okay, all right. We will email, we'll add that to the list of questions that we continue to email to the absent Navy. All right, and then we had one question about when will they drain the tank completely, and how can the community help? They are in the process of defueling the tanks and degassing them, so the liquid fuel is out. Tank 7, the gas has been released and the sludge has been scooped out. There was significantly less sludge, like orders of magnitude less than what they expected. And now they're working on tank 8. It's been degassed, and they are going to start working on the desludging. And then they're going to move to the next set of tanks. I'm anticipating that they will try to do 2 tanks at once going forward, because when they did tank 7 and 8, nobody died, and so why not push it, the envelope, a little bit more. So we don't have an exact date of when the tank will be completely empty. They are taking it step by step and trying to work as expeditiously as possible. All right, go ahead.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Cameron Horson. Of course, I did my dissertation from a master's in social work on the VI Act. Congressman Kahele, he introduced the VI Act where President Biden allowed for $350 million to defuel the tanks, and then $250 for something defueling the process, and then paying the military, which would be Navy, Air Force, over in that area, Army, of course, I guess all Force 5 services, to give them directly. Does anybody know where that money went?
Excellent question.
That's a good question.
Take it away.
That's a really good question. So here's what I did. I looked at the funding documents. There was $1 million supposed to be set aside only for Red Hill, for defueling and for closing the tank and so on. So that money came out of the NDAA in 2023. So there's a line item, and if you go through the 1,000 pages of information, there is a line item for the Red Hill tank. But if you try to get any information off of that, there isn't anything available. I submitted a FOIA request in 2023 in December, and it got lost, or somehow. So we were told early in 2024 that those FOIA requests got lost. So I submitted a new one. And just last week, I got a message back that said my FOIA request is being referred to the Red Hill Task Force. But one other piece of information that came up, Admiral Wade, before he left, gave this summary of all the heroic things that he did. And one of the things he did was he said he spent $206 million out of the $1 billion. So he was turning the rest over to Admiral Barnett for him to finish doing the closing. So if anything is mind-boggling to any of you, $200-something million to drain the tanks, are you kidding me? That's what he did. That's what he said. I mean, I can't get you the funding documents. We'll see. The FOIA request, I might get the record maybe in 2030 or something. But as of right now, I have no other information. So, but if you are doing any research or any work, submit a FOIA request. The more FOIA requests you get, the more attention it gets. Anyway.
I just want to say, this makes me so upset because this, like I kept saying in the demilitarized Oahu, I think you were there, right? That's great.
Yeah.
I think we all, right, we need to all, as citizens or as residents, need to come together. I mean, this is what we can do and just pressure them, keep pressuring them. Because like, this would not happen in Germany. Germany has its own, they're so like, it's called Nazi green, like this would not happen over there. Like they're very environmentalist conscious. And they have a Bundeswehr, they have a military to back them up. They would monitor the United States military, demand that they have inspectors come in, demand that the residents know. This is just abuse. And the military just comes here, they come here, the generals, whoever comes in and out of here, they just do their 3 or 4 month tour and then they get out of here and they contaminate and leave and contaminate and leave. So I don't know if there's something to do with the governor and law enforcement. I don't know if the state can do anything more. But it's really serious because the control injection, we are south of those injection lines where the halava aquifer, that covers all of like Hawaii pie, and then what's the other aquifer? There's like 2 more. There's a halava, that's like the main one. That the Navy uses the halava aquifer. So we are Makai, so like gravity is not on our side. Not only that, even if they take the sludge out the tanks, there's still like contamination from the tank. Let me look it up. Sorry, I don't have it all in my head. Let me just read you a couple paragraphs from my paper. Okay, currently the tanks are mouth of the injection control lines of the water distribution points. Gravity is not in the local residents' favor. The fuel will leak downhill into the residents' homes. That's us, or Kapilina. I live in Eva, so, and I had classmates that lived on Hickam in my class and Air Force, and her husband was Air Force, and they didn't have water. So I had a lot of my classmates were affected by it, and it expected them as in my group. I'd be like, hey, what's wrong? Hey, I didn't get to take a shower today, I was like, yeah, that kind of would irritate me, right? So I don't have clean drinking water, so it affects like a lot of people. Okay, let me show you. 50 gallons of water distributed per day from the sources. The tanks are within a 1.5 mile radius of the uloa well and Halava shaft, directly located 100 feet above the Halava aquifer. Utilized by the Department of the Navy. The local residents from Honouliuli Valley to Hawaii Kai, 25% of Oahu receive fresh water from these sources. This is the thing, the fuel tanks are only made, there's like, how many, 200 or something, and they're really big, huge.
20 tanks.
20 tanks, right, and they're really huge. So the fuel tanks are only made of concrete with just a 1/4 inch of corroding steel liner coating. So even if we take all the fuel out of it, there's still contamination. They can just get them out of there. I don't know. And collectively, they've leaked already since World War II, right? 43. 188,000 gallons of fuel. One tank holds 12.5 million gallons of fuel and is 80 years old. So 250 feet tall and all that, and we're downhill from all that. So it's ridiculous. I don't know if we could work with the HOA, maybe. Does this have HOA? The Kapilina? No, medical. Maybe we could put up flyers up. They let us put flyers up on the walls or out here by the pool so people can see. I mean, if they don't care, then just put them up there anyways. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know what else. I don't really know a resolution, but just to collaborate with all these groups. Like, no, if they don't renew the military leases, get them out of here. They're not going to clean up after themselves. We don't need them here. Or if we can organize more things at the state capitol, get more people involved. I mean, Congressman Kaihele, he tried, but it's like, I don't know, I'm Native American, so what the government does, they just like to throw money at the problem, right? Like here, we killed all your people, we killed your crops, we killed all your land, we took your water, we mined and contaminated your lands and your waters and your plants. Here's $1 million, go away, That's what they're gonna keep doing. Yeah. It's all about the money, it's all about them coming here, getting their promotion, getting their, getting their, what's it called, officer report, OER. So, and then go somewhere else and destroy somebody else's land. So, I really don't know. One last thing. The Vaikai. Isn't that fresh water? It's not.
Yes, it's fresh water.
I'm like, why do we have a surfing? We have surfing. We need
For free.
a fresh water being used for. It's just ridiculous. And who approves all this? Like,
There are permits. The LIVESTREAMS, when it was first built, was approved by both the city and county of Honouliuli and also the.
That's just
the
ridiculous.
It
They
is.
just want to make money. Maybe they bribe the lawmakers. I don't know. But it's just ridiculous. There's a lot of issues, and it's just it's very disheartening, and I don't know what the solution is, but I know it wouldn't happen in Germany. Like, we would have been kicked out and deported, and if we didn't clean up, they had an inspector, and we feel the pressure from our officers, like, you clean up your stuff, stay here, clean up the constitutional water, clean up the toilets, everything. We're not leaving until this place is clean, So, what happened here?
Thank you very much. And we will add your questions to the list. We want a breakdown of how the money's been spent so far. How much is there? How did you spend? Yeah. Okay, additional testimony? Go ahead.
Aloha, hi guys, aloha mai kako. I'm Devian Momilan Thomas. So anyways, I lived on Pearl City Peninsula, Navy housing for now 9 years. We still do not use our tap water, except very carefully cold wash laundry with Amazon filters. So that's pretty much 32 months we haven't been using our tap water. And we gotta keep on getting bottled waters. But anyways, I just wanna say that I was the first one to have called to report about the very day that the Navy began degassing the tanks at Kapukaki, at Red Hill Mountain. And how I got the number was, I went to Department of Health, their clean air, and then they were like, I can tell they were like whispering, like, oh my God, somebody's calling already, somebody's complaining already, oh my God, oh my God. So they ended up giving me the Navy's hotline number, and a young woman that was on duty answered the phone, a sailor or some sort, scientist. And then she ended up also giving me the number to a medical number to call in case anyone comes down with symptoms. And I was feeling symptoms. And so I was already alerting some of our CRI, our CRI protectors, that hey, I'm feeling something, man, and I never feel this, like itchy throat, burning eyes. At the same time, another, I'm gonna keep her anonymous, another military spouse was feeling it too across our uloa, Vaimoni, our Pearl Harbor Bay waters. So when I called the medical number on Saturday morning, that was like what, the second, third day they were degassing. And sure enough, the leadership, the Navy leadership sounded kind of like hesitant, like oh my God, a first caller. And he was asking me questions, like, because I told him for sure, I mean, I never get sick. I eat healthy, I look after myself. Even though we've been in Pearl City Peninsula, I haven't gotten any, and though I'm from this island, I haven't gotten anything like this in such a long time since we stopped using the tap water. And so he was like, okay. So he put in my request, and then I told him all my symptoms, and when he called me back, he was like, ma'am, we are going to have to do an investigation. We're gonna have to send some of our guys over. Where do you live? I told him I give him my address. I'm like, whoa, I'm about to have my son's high school graduation gathering. I was like, well, can you just come? Just come, because I have to warn my immediate ohana and my island friends that I've known for years on this island. So they didn't end up coming. So he ended up gathering with the Navy or whoever he talked to up at the Red Hill Mountain, the ones that were looking at the air monitors, and they said nothing has gone over their first line of defense of the line monitors right along the Red Hill Mountain. So I said, sir, have you guys warned any of the military community around the Red Hill officer housing that's right there at the foothills of Red Hill Mountain, and all the local residents that are living in all the local communities of Honouliuli Valley and at the Red Hill Complex Apartments, and even across the street, which is AMR, Red Hill, Army Housing, and then of course Kaiser Moanulua, where I go doctors at. And he and that other woman at the Navy hotline said, no, I don't think we've done that. We just have it on our app. I was like, I had to delete that app after the defueling because to make room on my phone. So I just want to say that I was the first. Again, I'm always the whistleblower.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Okay, so I don't think there's any testimony online. I did get us several questions, which I think EPA, I'm hoping you guys might be able to answer. If Amy's still on the Zoom, she might be the best one. I'll just read off all the questions, and then I will turn off my mic and be quiet, so hopefully to spare everyone's ears. Okay, all right, here are the questions. I think there are 3. Is the EPA or Navy sampling for PFAS and JP5 degradation process? One question. Considering the Department of Health environmental exposure noted a high boiling point hydrocarbon detected in both wells, and the RESS samples through the summer of 2021. What is the EPA doing to aid in identifying what that or those chemicals may have been? And what are they doing to ensure that they are no longer a threat? Another question, are PAHs, which I think is polyaromatic hydrocarbons, excellent Vice Chair, are PAHs ever considered high boiling point hydrocarbons? And then finally, there's a question about notification. When there is a PPH detection in a duplex, are both residents, households notified? And generally, how are people notified when there are PPH detections? I'm hoping there's someone online with the EPA who can answer these questions, and if not, we'll just harass Andrew until we get our answers.
Can I copy the questions for Amy in the chat really quickly?
Yeah, so they can.
Okay. Amy, give us 1 second. Hold on. We're also going to copy it in the chat so you can read it. But
And also tell Amy thank you for staying up so late for us.
and Roy says thank you for staying up so late. So I'm going to change the output in a second and then you can speak. So anytime you're ready.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I think that's it. Okay. Okay, so I think the first question is the EPA or the Navy sampling for PFAS and JP5 degradation products? I don't know, Amy or Claudia, you want to answer it? Otherwise I can jump in, but Claudia's still on.
No more Jane, you're all out.
Okay. So on PFAS, we did request sampling. This was the letter that Andy had referenced earlier. At source water, as well as in groundwater. We're working with them on groundwater sampling of Gene, as well as they did agree to commit to regular testing of the source water. We also looked for PFAS in our investigation early June. We have gotten the results back. The Navy, I believe, also did split samples. So there were limited testing on a handful of homes that we looked at as part of that investigation. And then I'll have to hand it over to Claudia for the second one about the JP5 degradation products.
I think by degradation we could be referring to like any of the chlorine interactions. I think we're looking at different volatile organic compounds and semi-volatile organic compounds, as well as total petroleum hydrocarbons. These are specific constituents. We're not looking, I don't believe we're looking at degradation of products if you mean like any chlorine byproduct. I'm not sure what that degradation products means.
Okay. Let's see, I see a question from earlier about are the samples still accurate if they're tested several months after being collected? Which I think Mandy commented on, but we didn't provide us a proper response. I think that was in regards to the AFFF retention line. Sampling is when that question popped up, so we can try and answer in that context. Essentially, the fluid in there has been for years from the released incident, and so it's highly unusual protocol for testing it. It's some of what we've heard from the Navy with their hesitance about testing because it's not something we regularly be looking at. But it is a diagnostic process, and so we're asking them to do the best in collecting that data, even if it's past some of what we might think of as conventional hold times, because any data is better than no data, but it is a challenge, will be a challenge with trying to test for this fluid that has been in the atrial left retention line and then held as a sample for several months. Hopefully that gets at the intent of that question. And then there's this question on the high boiling point hydrocarbon. I don't think I can answer that. I don't know if someone else on the line is able to.
And Jamie, there was a question about the notification if EPA has TPH detections, would we be notifying the owner of the resident where that TPH detection was found in an EPA sample, and we would do that?
This other longer multi-point question, I think we'll just have to take back and provide it in writing to Catherine, unless someone else wants to chime in.